So let's play a little game today. Imagine yourself back in time to the Middle Ages, and over the next few minutes, we're going to make you live several different lives. So put on those big medieval shoes and get ready to go back in time, because it is time for Time Travel Tuesday. No, you are now in Antioch, nestled in the shadow of Mount Silpius, where ancient pagan temples stood alongside new churches and the stench of stale waste mixed with incense. Here the bishop's nephew dies young, and an old woman accuses a Jew of poisoning him. The sky above is painted with bright colors. The buildings seem alien. The air hums with unfamiliar sounds. You feel a sharp pain in your chest, like an arrow through your heart. Hagia Sophia gleams like a pearl in the afternoon sun, its dome hovering above the bustling marketplace. Nearby, a merchant prepares to weigh gold and spices. Farther on, a young page delivers a message to an official. Across the way, a noble adjusts his ornate plumed helmet. All around you, merchants hawking perfumes, fishmongers displaying their catch, silversmiths showing off their wares. The energy of the city is palpable. People jostle each other. Ships dock and unload. Donkeys bray. Dogs bark. Cats prowl. And at the center of it all, you a pilgrim, walking toward the great church. Passing vendors, dodging servants, making your way through crowds, approaching the building, entering its cool shade, gazing upward at the dome, kneeling before the altar, joining the faithful, praying to God, asking for miracles, hoping for blessings, touching relics, listening to the choir, smelling incense, seeing mosaics, hearing languages. You do not know, feeling the cool stone beneath your feet, standing among thousands of Christians, Muslims, and Jews. What is happening to you? The answer comes in a voice that is not yours. Hail, Viking. Welcome to Valhalla. Did you enjoy today's episode? If you did, please follow for more. Until next time, keep thinking historically. You clutch your chest, unsure if you have been wounded. But no blood appears. Instead, your wounds vanish, and in their place appear strange symbols. Your skin is stretched taut. Your jaw is stronger. You smell the grass, the trees, the rain. You feel no pain, but you are no longer human. You are something different. More animal, more fierce, more wild. There you will throw your spear, knowing it will return, unharmed. You hear the wind in the heather, the rush of the waterfall, and you know you must go to the mountaintop. Unbreakable, unyielding, strong. You are Odin's chosen. You are a Viking. There you will feast with other warriors, drinking from horns and singing songs of bravery. You are a shield wall. Here, men burn in chariots while pulling on ropes to move large stones. Stone buildings reach toward the sky, decorated with towers, turrets, and tall windows. On the ground floor, merchants hawk their wares, shopkeepers unlock their chests, artisans hammer their anvils. Above them, a clock chimes, marking the hour. The air buzzes with energy. Horse-drawn carts clatter over cobblestones. Shop boys call out. Sailors spin yarns. Nobles swagger.
Meddlers
Push their wares. You are in the marketplace, but you are not a shopper. You are a boy, apprenticed to a master coppersmith, working for pennies, learning the trade. Dreaming of one day owning your own forge, hiring your own apprentices, creating fine goblets, sturdy pots, intricate hinges, beautiful lamps. But for now, you are just a helper, fetching materials, cleaning crucibles, stirring acids, hammering stakes, shaping pieces, polishing mirrors, assisting. One day your work will be your own, but until then, it is someone else's. You wipe sweat from your brow, dip your fingers into the quenching vat, breathe in the metallic temps, listen to the rhythmic clang, and you know you have found your calling. Here as you sit on a marble throne judging the accusations against a Jewish moneylender 2 nights, arrive bearing gifts, tales of hairy wild men from the mountains of demons lurking in caves, and news of a child who has not blinked in 8 days. Is this the Middle Ages? Is it Europe? Not quite. You are a Byzantine emperor. Your court is far from the grand palaces of Constantinople, but your authority is just as real. To your left, a gold coin is stamped with your likeness. To your right, a priest holds aloft a cross. Behind you, icons stare impassively ahead. Maybe, below you, the people crowd. pushing against the ropes, craning to catch a glimpse of the ruler they barely understand, who rules in a language they do not speak, wearing clothes they have never seen. Above you, the domed ceiling shimmers with gold leaf. The air grows warm, then hot. Then suddenly, a tremor runs through the hall, shaking loose a shower of plaster. You cough. You fan yourself. But the room is stuffy. The people murmur. It feels as though the very stones are pressing in. Are you in danger? But more than that, you are apart, cut off from the people you rule, separated by religion, by culture, by the very walls of this chapel. You are death. Or maybe you are God. Even the sunlight seems to avoid the throne. If you are alone, the weight of the crown is heavy. Murmurs below become a roar. The coins glint. The fire grows brighter. And you, the last of your bloodline, wonder if tomorrow you will still be the emperor. And our first stop today takes us to a small cottage near Tours. You read scripture to the dying. You bless the sick. You absolve the damned. As the days pass and more victims pile up, you continue your grim task. From your tower window, you watch mothers abandon their children, lovers flee each other, entire families fall victim to the sickness. You can hear the bells tolling the dead, the prayers for the dying, the screams of the damned. After all, this plague seems to have come from nowhere. It took your son. It took your wife. It took half your town. What happens next? You do not know. There is no cure, no vaccine, so you wait. You watch. You listen. He follows a timetable dictated by hunger. He has risen before sunrise to pray, and while the pestilence rages, you remember your training. You don a white robe and a blue surcoat. You don your mask, a reminder of mortality, of your devotion, of the ever-present threat. You walk out into the streets. You dip bread in vinegar. You anoint the dead. Sometimes a hand reaches out to you, grasping, clawing. Sometimes a sob racks your body. Sometimes the horror is almost too much to bear. And yet you stay, you press on. For as long as there are living, there is hope. And as long as there is hope, you will be there. And here we meet a Benedictine monk named Odo. But his hours are not set by God or holy orders. His loaf of bread has been eaten by mice. His bowl is bare, save a few scraps of yesterday's dinner. He tugs his rope belt tighter, smooths down his threadbare robe, and walks out into the fields to beg. This is the life of a monk, not any monk. You are a monk without a monastery, a friar begging for food, money, and lodging. You are a friar without a wall, without a roof. At a time when the church owned a tenth of French land, when most people alive considered themselves Christian, when most people saw the Pope as their spiritual father, you are a beggar. Later you will return to the field, take up a hoe, plant crops to sustain yourself, pull weeds, milk goats, shear sheep, mend shoes, chop wood, haul water, carry sacks, cook meals, serve travelers. The Seine River sparkles in the afternoon sun, lined with wharves and warehouses, but you do not grow complacent. You know your role. You have given up worldly pleasures to devote yourself to prayer, to study, to solitude, to service. You are part of a growing movement dedicated to the original spirit of Christianity, the teachings of Christ, who chose poverty and rejected luxury. You are a follower of St. Francis, a man who talked to birds, who preached to fish, who called all creatures brother and sister, who turned the other cheek, who lived simply so he could love God and humanity more. Your life is not easy, but your purpose is clear. Without possessions, you walk the road to God, carrying only a staff and a pouch, sustaining yourself on what others give, sleeping where the night finds you, preaching about peace. Now we leave the friar behind and travel to a great city. Not Rome, not Constantinople, not Paris. Back in Europe, centuries later, the plague has come and gone, leaving corpses strewn across the cobblestones and an eerie silence in its wake. Finally, you find yourself somewhere else, somewhere strange, unlike anywhere you've ever been.
Right.
Next, we travel to a grand city. But finally it is time to make a pilgrimage to the greatest city in the known world. And with that, our journey through the Middle Ages comes to an end.